Do you suck at Rocket League? Do you have stiff mechanics? Do you find yourself playing ranked and asking yourself why you even bother playing this game in the first place?
I hate this channel.
No! No!
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm going to help you to learn any mechanic you want in Rocket League. As you're probably aware, there's a lot of mechanics in Rocket League. Some are more important than others when it comes to the foundations of the game. You know, your basic movement mechanics, basic aerials, things of that nature. And some are more or less just for show. Today, I'm here to tell you whatever mechanic in the game that you want to be able to do, you 100% can. Whether it's your first air dribble or you're trying to pull off a double flip reset. The fact of the matter is, if that mechanic is possible in the game, that means anyone can do it. With enough practice. Now, how do you go about learning a new mechanic? From experience, you can do a quick search on YouTube for a tutorial and grab some knowledge and tips on how to make your progress easier. Go check out my tutorial videos. You then hop into free play or a custom training pack that has been recommended to you for said mechanic, and you knuckle down and start practicing. Now, this is where a lot of people seem to fall short. Depending on the mechanics, the time it will take to perfect it will vary, depending on how many inputs a mechanic requires you to make. For example, let's compare a wave dash to a double flip reset using a stall for the second reset. A forward wave dash requires you to jump once, lean back, and then once your back wheels touch the ground, you hold forward and flip into the floor. That's a grand total of 4 inputs that you need to make on a standard controller to perform a wave dash. Now let's compare that to a double flip reset including a stall. For the sake of the video, let's say that the setup starts from the wall. Jumping off the wall, adjusting your car's position with air roll and your analog stick, feathering your boost, then you get the first reset. Then you've got to adjust your car for the stall by maybe boosting a little or maybe air rolling just a tad. Then the stall itself requires at least 3 inputs at the same time to pull off. Those being holding your air roll left or right button whilst also holding your analog stick the opposite way to the air roll direction, and then pressing jump. You then get the second reset, and then you've got to shoot. Let's say with a forward flip. You use air roll to adjust your car, then boost a little more to get close to the ball, and then you hold up with your analog stick and then press jump. Now, that, as I described it, requires at least 15 inputs in the space of about 5 seconds. Now, this number will inevitably vary depending on your setup and the game situation. So as I said, the time it takes to learn certain mechanics will vary depending on what mechanic you're trying to learn. Also, some people learn quicker than others. Some people are just going to grasp a certain mechanic quicker than others would. That's just how things work. Now moving on to actually learning a new mechanic. I'll use myself as an example. I'd say that I'm an above average Rocket League player, and statistics would agree with me. But there's a mechanic that I seem to struggle with so much, and that's double touches. I'm sure you are, but if you're not familiar with a double touch, usually it's when you start an aerial from a certain point on the field and then hit the ball towards your opponent's backboard. Then, as the ball rebounds off the backboard, you're in a position to dunk the ball into the goal in quick succession. A very effective mechanic and an amazing asset to have in your arsenal. The problem I have with double touches is that I always find myself missing the rebound by either being too fast or slow to meet the ball, or if I do meet the ball at the correct timing, I don't adjust my car correctly so the ball won't go in the net but rather just hit the crossbar again or go somewhere completely unbeneficial to me or my teammates. So, I decided to take matters into my own hands and knuckle down on getting this mechanic as perfect as I could. I went through the sequence of searching for a tutorial on YouTube, then taking the tips from the tutorial and hopped into a custom training pack dedicated to double touches and started the grind. Here's also another spot where some people may struggle. I could sit here and say practice makes perfect and you've just got to put the time in and you'll grasp it eventually. This is true to an extent, but learning from your training is literally the point in training in the first place. Let's say I tried the same double tap shot 100 times. And successfully scored with a double tap 35 times out of 100. Those numbers, to me, aren't great. So each time I take the shot and miss, I'll look at what I did and analyse where I went wrong. And the times I scored, I would analyse what I did right. This is what is known as fine-tuning your mechanics. Having fine-tuned mechanics is the best way to ensure that you can pull off these manoeuvres in-game and not just being a free play main and only scoring amazing goals in free play. My second point on this is the repetitive nature of this training method is going to build up your muscle memory, which again is a very important factor. Having good muscle memory in a certain situation means that you don't have to think about what buttons you're pressing or which way your analog stick is going in a certain moment. Your hands already know what they have to do, as they've been repeating this action try after try after try in free play or custom training. This now gives you the advantage of being able to focus your attention elsewhere, such as where your opponents might be or even your teammates. So if I was to lay out a plan for you guys to learn absolutely any mechanic in Rocket League, it would look like this. Step 1. Find a good tutorial on YouTube. This will give you a guide and hopefully step-by-step tips that you can reference at any time during your training. Step 2. Find a good custom training pack. This is where you're going to be spending the majority of your time training, so this is very important. Finding a training pack with a good variety of different shots and angles will be very beneficial to you, just to get the feeling of the mechanic and to know what situations to use it in. Step 3. Analyze your mistakes and your successes. Knowing what you're doing wrong and how to fix it is crucial to learning anything new in life, let alone a mechanic in Rocket League. And also know what you're doing right so that you can keep doing those things is also very beneficial. So don't just blindly sit there for hours trying to hit a musty flick double touch and giving up 2 hours in because it's quote unquote impossible. If you take the time to analyze your mistakes and your successes, you'll find that you'll make progress a lot faster. Step 4. Take what you've learnt from training packs into free play. Now this is going to be a jump in difficulty, sure, but this is the best way to make your newly found mechanic a lot more viable to use in a game situation. As in free play, you have to set up the ball yourself, which is what you'll most likely have to do in an actual game. This will be a fair bit harder, but as you've got the fundamentals of the mechanic already from the training pack, you'll grasp it in no time. And finally, step 5. Don't be scared to try your new mechanic in games. If you have the perfect opportunity to show off your fine-tuned double touch mechanics in a game and shy away because you're afraid you're going to screw it up, well then I guess all that time training was for nothing. I'll just go back to missing every rebound that comes my way. No! What? Get up there and dunk on these kids! If you do mess up in game, however, use step number 3 to analyze your mistakes and see what you did wrong so that you know what to do for next time. So, summarizing the key points of this video would be that learning new mechanics takes time. There's no way around it, but you can shorten the time it takes by carefully analyzing your training and in-game attempts to really hone your skills effectively. Okay, I hope that puts things into perspective a bit for you guys out there that may be struggling with a certain mechanic in Rocket League. Let me know down in the comments if you're learning a new mechanic and how you're getting on with the process of learning it. So that's all I've got for today's video, guys. I have been Oliver, that is OLVR, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.